Dan Willis here, and we're talking about how to help your credit score and specifically how to deal with collection agencies. For many folks with less than perfect credit, they're dealing with aggressive collection agencies, endless harassing phone calls, and negative information on their credit reports. It's key to know you have rights as a consumer. These are detailed in the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA. This federal legislation is what regulates the debt collection industry. It clearly says what time of day debt collectors are allowed to call you, what they can say, who they can speak with about your alleged debt, and much more. It's worth your detailed review at your convenience. It also requires debt collectors to treat you with a modicum of respect and give you the dignity that every human being deserves. And yes, you should know that FDCPA is violated just about as often as our drug laws. Now, will paying off collections improve your credit? Understandably, the main concern for many folks is if paying off collections will improve your credit. It makes sense if it did, and you'd think it would. However, as of this video at the end of 2020 and moving forward, no, it won't. If all you do is pay off collections and nothing more, the only thing that's going to change is the status of the collection on your credit report. It'll be changed from an unpaid collection to a paid collection. This is still a negative item to have on your credit reports. Anthony Sprav, a spokesman for FICO, says collections on your credit reports can damage and drag your FICO score down by as much as 100 points. Further, FICO says, and we quote, "The fact that you have collections listed on your credit report will almost certainly lower your FICO score." And they go on to say, as far as your FICO score is concerned, two things are considered. Has a collection appeared on your credit report and when it was reported? So whether or not you pay your collections off is really a personal decision, end quote. The Experian Credit Bureau says, and again we quote, "Paying the debt won't necessarily help your credit scores. Accounts that get to the collection stage are about as negative as it gets. Only bankruptcy is worse. As a result, any improvement, especially right away, probably will be very minor," end quote. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. The worst part is for some individuals that simply pay off collection debt with the false belief it'll help your credit score. Instead, it results in the debt being re-aged. In other words, for many folks, this recent activity, including paying the collection, re-ages the debt so it can continue to be reported on your credit reports for 7 more years. Now let's talk about the debt collection tactics. In addition to the phone calls, letters, and negative information on your credit reports, it's common for debt collectors to inflate your total balance on your account. Legally, they can charge your account with sky-high interest rates and, believe it or not, even collection fees. These fees can add up to significant sums and fast. If the collection agency is unable to collect payment, they'll often turn around and sell the rights to your debt to yet another debt collector. Now this new debt collector will then begin calling you, sending letters, and they'll also report the account on your credit reports. This can go on and on depending on the size of the alleged outstanding debt. If it's substantial, it's not uncommon for consumers to be sued. Yup, there's even collection agencies that specialize in this collection method. Their goal is to win a judgment because then they've really got you by the short and curlies. A judgment can potentially result in wage garnishment, liens placed against you and or your property, and even asset seizure. Please check out your local legislation for full details because every state has unique laws. And if you'd like to know more, we're going to include a link in the description below over to an article at our website for the full story. We also have a free report available there for you, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. Now, the very first step to dealing with collection agencies is to request debt validation. This is your consumer right granted by the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. In short, when we request debt validation, we're asking for our original receipt. Chances are this debt collector just showed up one day demanding payment, as in we didn't do any business directly with the collection agency. Debt validation requires the debt collector to prove everything's legit and it's truly your account. It's most effective to make your debt validation request in writing and send it using certified mail. This will give you a trail of evidence of your correspondence on the off chance you should need it. You see, the debt collector is required to respond by providing you with the evidence, documents, and paperwork that does prove this is your account. This paperwork should also clearly show you all the relevant details about the account, such as the original creditor, the dates of account activity, the total balance, etc. If they fail to validate your debt, then you're no longer responsible for payment. Moreover, they're supposed to contact all 3 credit bureaus to have them remove this collection from your credit report. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Now let's talk about the statute of limitations. If your account is validated, our next step is to review this paperwork in detail. We're looking for your last date of account activity. Contrary to popular belief, you're not legally responsible for repayment for most debts forever. Generally speaking, you're only legally responsible for about 7 years from your last date of account activity. This applies to the overwhelming majority of types of consumer debt, including charge-offs, utilities, retail accounts, property management, medical bills, telecommunications, and more. The exact amount of time is laid out in the statute of limitations. This is state law and it does vary, so for full details, check out your local legislation. And one of the few exceptions is federal student loans in default. Virtually everything else is governed by the statute of limitations legal time window. Step 3, how to negotiate a settlement agreement. If your account is validated and it's within the statute of limitations legal time window, our next step is to discuss how to pay debt collectors and specifically negotiating a settlement agreement directly with the collection agency. And there's 2 parts to your agreement, and it's best to get this in writing. First, we need to negotiate to settle and pay this debt for just a fraction of the total balance. Often, you'll be able to negotiate and settle for as little as 20% up to around 40% of the total balance. For example, with a $1,000 debt, you may be able to negotiate and settle for just 30% or $300. This is standard operating practice, and the collection agency will be thrilled to accept a settlement for less. The second part of our agreement is mission critical. We must get the collection agency to agree that in exchange for our payment, they'll stop reporting our account information to all 3 credit bureaus. If we overlook this once we make payment, the only thing that will happen is a change in the status of the collection item on our credit reports. It'll be changed from an unpaid collection to a paid collection, and this is still a negative credit report item. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Now let's talk about how to remove this collection from your credit report. In our 4th and final step, we're going to remove this collection item from your credit reports, and to do this, we'll need to file a credit report dispute, which we'll be discussing in detail coming up here, so of course subscribe and join our congregation. The credit bureaus are required to investigate a disputed item, during which they'll contact the collection agency and ask them to verify the collection account. As per your settlement agreement, directly with the collection agency, they won't verify your account with the credit bureaus. As a result, the item must be removed from your credit report. This is the second part of your settlement agreement with the collection agency. This is how to get collections off of your credit report legally and by exercising your rights as a consumer and long before serving the maximum 7-year sentence. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Again, that's for a free credit report consultation, and the toll-free phone number is 1-844-517-7627. This is Dan Willis. We're going to include a link in the description below over to an article on our website for the full story. We also have a free report available there for you, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. And of course, subscribe and join our congregation, because coming up next, we're going to be talking about how to dispute your credit report in detail. So of course, subscribe. Have a fantastic day, and looking forward to talking to you again here soon.